and it's filled with cliques, and everyone is a stereotype, and that honestly it sucks in general, that it's just awful, and that you're going to hate it and just get through it. Unless you're popular, then it's just the greatest thing ever. I have found that it's not like that at all. Nothing is black and white as it's shown to be. The popular people, they're not up on a pedestal. You don't have to bow down to them in the hallways. The nerds, they're not noticeable as nerds. You don't immediately see someone and say, oh, well, they're an outcast, a loner, etc., etc. So I think that when we get to any new place, really, especially school, I'm just going to keep using that because that's the central focus of most teens' lives. We have all of these expectations, and if they're not met, one part of us is disappointed that high school isn't exactly what we made it out to be, and people don't get up on the tables during lunch and start singing a song, and that just doesn't happen. Part of us is disappointed, but also part of us is glad that maybe we can make it our own a little bit. I'm very blessed because I had the opportunity to go to the Salt Lake School of Performing Arts. It's an alternative high school that focuses on performing and the performing arts. It's a branch of Highland High School, and I think that it really has given me a different experience than what most people would get. You have the idea that high school is this cold, mean place where you fend for yourself, survival of the fittest, etc. But what I've found is that you actually form a family with the people in your life. And those bonds may not last forever, but they are there and it helps you get through high school. I find that people are a lot more welcoming than I was expecting. I was expecting to go through high school kind of just getting by, getting good grades, not talking much in class. But I have many wonderful people in my life that enrich every day and really make life something special, which I'm extremely grateful for. Something else that I think is really important is peer pressure. You always hear, in elementary school, I don't know how long it's been around for, but DARE. Something about drugs, I can't remember the acronym, I have 20 rulers with it on it, but...
Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Thank you. All right, so there you go. You hear about how people are constantly going to be trying to get you into drugs and drinking and partying and all these just awful, awful things that you just have to stay away from, and they're awful, and yes, they are. But once you get to high school, you find out that no, not everyone is going to pressure you into doing this. You have a mind of your own, and it's important that you use it, and you can use it. I think that the people that end up ruining their lives either are looking for a place to go because they feel like an outcast. Like Kurt Cobain, I think, is a really good example of this. I admire him very much, and I think that his end came far too quickly, but he served as a great lesson to the youth of the rest of time. I mean, he felt like an outcast and a loner, so I think that he probably turned to drugs and all of these awful things that were ultimately the end of him because he needed to find a place to go. I think that something that's very important in life is to reach out to people and make a connection with them, because if you don't, they could end up like Kurt Cobain or any other number of the people that have died from drug overdoses and suicide and terrible, terrible things. Being true to yourself is also something that I've found is a little bit difficult. Even though it's not, you don't have to be one stereotype in life. You don't have to. That's not even an option for me. I am many different things, and when people try to say that when they try to label me as an actor or a techie or, you know, a goth. I get that 24/7. Or a new age weirdo, you know, stuff like that. I think that people try to label everyone else because they want to be able to, almost they want to be able to pick you out and say, you are weird, you're not like us, so we are going to bully you and make your life miserable. Which is really sad, because I think that the people that pretend that they're one thing and one thing only, and that's always the, you know, athletic, beautiful, perfect people that are just ever so popular, pick on the people that choose a different path than theirs. I think that the analogy of a puzzle is extremely valid for life in general, because we need many, many different people to make life. If everyone was the same puzzle piece, then we wouldn't have anything. I find that the more I discover about myself, the happier I am. And people that don't go on a quest to find their own truth and their own self end up being a lot less happy and a lot less fulfilled than people that do. And I think that meditation and New Age crap, of course I don't think it's that, is a wonderful way to become happy and true to yourself and a full person. And I wish that more people would accept it. And I believe that maybe there should be meditation classes and classes on chakras and everything in schools, because maybe everyone would just end up being a little bit happier. Maybe it won't completely change their lives like it's changed mine, but they could end up really being a happier, more well-rounded, more loving person. And going along with loving, I've noticed that there's a lot of hate and anger and resentment for everything in schools and just in the world in general. People, they want to rebel. They want to be different while being a sheep. They rebel by talking back to their teachers. They rebel by making fun of that weird kid. They rebel by not turning in their homework. Simple little things like this that just add to the negativity of the world and make it a less pleasant and wonderful place to live. I think that if everyone could just learn to be more loving instead of hateful and angry and discriminatory and prejudiced, that maybe there wouldn't even be any bullying in the world, period. Nothing like that would happen, because there is nothing to hate in anyone else. Bullying is something that makes me physically ill. I personally, thank God, have never met anyone that has been driven to suicide by bullying, but I know plenty of people that lie about themselves and their truth because they are afraid of being shoved in the garbage can or being pushed down the stairs, anything like that. As a SPA student, the performing arts school I attend, we constantly get called names in the hall. We get called a spaggot. Like, I'm sure that you can imagine what that means. We get pushed around, we get made fun of, we get called freaks, we always get that we think we're higher than everyone else because we go to this elite school. What they don't understand is that we're just people like them following our own paths. Just because our path isn't right for them, that doesn't mean we think any less of them. And I think that goes for life in general as well. People tend to think that if you have a passion, or you are really dedicated to something, or you choose something that's not the norm, you think you're better than them and that you are above them. So they turn against you and try to put you down to get you down to their level. Which I think is that's bullying. That is the definition of bullying. Trying to make them equal to you. I always have believed that the people that get bullied are the ones that are happy with themselves or show any sign of happiness. This world is so bent on making everyone depressed and sad, and I'm not sure why. The world just does not usually want to see happiness, but I think that it's time to change that and really make the world a beautiful, happy place where everyone can coexist and use their talents to make it the best it can possibly be. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, anyone have any questions or anything?
Is your performing arts, do you guys do performances?
Yeah, so it's divided up into departments. We have the dance department, music, theater, and technical theater departments. And we put on, I believe, 3 full-scale big shows a year. We do at least 1 musical and then 2 other performances. Could be theater or dance. I don't mean to sound, I don't mean to gloat about my school, but our performances are quite above the standard of other schools because this is our main passion. So yes, we do put on many performances, and if anyone is interested in coming and seeing any of them, I could send out a calendar or something of events. So
Maybe
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll put a link for
yeah,
sure.
that would be great.
Is it usually at Highland?
We have our own building. It's down the road, and we have a black box theater. Is anyone familiar with that?
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah, thank you. We're really proud of it. We all worked really hard on it. So, yeah, we have performances in there usually, and yeah, they're really good. And I'm always super duper proud of everyone that's a part of them. So if you would come support our school, we would be very grateful. Yeah?
What's your favorite part about going to spa?
Ooh, that's hard. I love the community aspect of it. That's probably my favorite thing. When you go to spa, you don't just have friends or schoolmates, you have a family. And you always know that your spa family is there to watch out for you. So that's really comforting. And I love it all. It's great.
Is there have you seen a lot of bullying at your school?
At spa or Highland?
At either one.
You should explain that they're...
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm so used to, okay. So, Spa and Highland, they're the same school, technically. We take all of our core classes like math, science, English, etc. at Highland, and then we take our electives at Spa, and that's always a performing class. So, so there is more bullying at Highland, I would say. They have to have quite a few bullying assemblies to try to eradicate the problem. It never works, of course, because no one wants to listen to a bunch of old people telling them to be nice to everyone.
Do you think it would be different if kids were talking to kids?
Definitely. I think that people lead by example. When something becomes cool or in, people are going to do it. And right now, and for pretty much ever, bullying has been in and the cool thing to do. So I think that if everyone kind of banded together and made it their quest to make being kind and accepting of others cool, then bullying would be gone. And at SPA, we're the pioneers of an entire school that's built on love and acceptance and friendship. And so there isn't any, I've never experienced bullying at SPA. I don't think it exists. It just doesn't happen.
But as a young person, how do you see adults modeling thoughts or behaviors in a culture that makes for bullying to be something that just happens? How are we responsible
Well, there are lots of ways I think that
Of course there are.
adults
But I
are
just want you to
responsible.
talk about it a little bit, if you could.
I think that adults run the world. I mean, that's just kind of obvious. I think that I think that bullying is made okay by the humor that's used in movies that are made by adults, TV shows that are made by adults, books that are made by adults, everything, even politics. This is something that just, I could go on for hours about all the problems in politics. It's entirely based on people bullying each other to get votes, to run our country. Which I think is just ridiculous. I will always, regardless, well, okay, I can't say that, but I will most likely vote for the candidate for whatever that is positive, doesn't put other people down, and instead highlights their good points and what they want to do for us, instead of saying, well, this person, put us $14 trillion in debt, and they smell, and they're not cool, I mean, I'd rather go with someone that will bring positivity to the world than won't. And also with adults, kind of, I don't really want to say condoning bullying, but making it acceptable. Who here went and saw Bully? No one? All right, I guess that was kind of
Oh, the
deciding.
movie
Yeah,
it came out like 2 months ago, yeah.
Yeah,
I saw the previews.
documentary. We went and saw it with school, which I thought was a good step. Highland and Spa both went and saw it on the last day of school. I thought it was not. I was disappointed very much. I enjoyed the film, but what happened in the film, I wasn't pleased at all with it. To make a change, you can't just keep saying the same things over and over and appealing to the same people. If you keep appealing to the same audience, of course, all the Spa kids were in tears by the end of the movie, because, we can't stand bullying. But the other kids were laughing when the children in the movie were bullied. They think it's funny because they're used to it, and they don't want to show that vulnerability of feeling for someone else. So I think that it could have been a lot more effective, but it also showed how messed up the school system is. When kids would go to the principal or whatever to say, I was pushed on the bus today and I got punched a few times and whatever, which is just horrendous, and no one should have to go with that. The principals barely cared. They just didn't care. They said, of course we'll take care of it, and then maybe they brought the offender in and said, that's not a nice thing to do. You shouldn't, physically harm people. Guess how effective that is? 0. Are they going to stop? No. They're just going to keep bullying because they didn't get punished at all.
Is punishment the answer?
Well, I'm not sure that was phrased incorrectly. I don't believe that negative plus negative makes positive at all. I think that there are many, many methods that I wish would be implemented into the school system to eradicate bullying. I think that maybe mediating with the two people, sit them down together, but make it effective. Don't just say, that wasn't a nice thing you did, and you need to stand up for yourself. That's not going to work. Both of them think that they're right. You need to say, maybe have the bullied person tell the bullier, the bully, sorry, how they feel and how it really hurts them. Because everyone is human, and no matter how tough you make yourself out to be, or how cool or above it all you are, you probably will feel for someone if they say, you know what, when you punched me, you broke my nose, and I had to deal with that. My family had to pay for the medical stuff, and that was really hard on us. You made my life hell. That's not all right. They need to tell them exactly what they did and why it's not okay. And maybe make an effort to be friends with the bully. That's also what I think maybe a lot of bullies need, is a friend. Someone to be there because bullies don't just say, wow, you know what, I think I'm going to beat someone up today because I feel like it. They have problems as well that they need sorted out. Maybe their family isn't supportive of them. Maybe, you know, they're failing school. There are so many things that could be happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. We just see a big, scary bully. So I think maybe if we maybe listened to their side of the story and tried to help them, there wouldn't be a problem.
I think what you said is really true, because if you can have empathy for each other and put yourself in the place of that other person, then you will have more compassion. And compassion is the key. And we, in the school I was in, we did do peer mediation, and it was very successful because the kids never heard the other side and why they did it. And sometimes they didn't even realize they had hurt someone's feelings. And so it usually was very successful, and they became friends. And they solved it themselves because we empowered them. We gave them back their power. The adult didn't act as the leader. We act as the mediator to help them resolve the conflict, and they can do it. They're very capable of doing it with love and dignity.
Exactly, and I think that's also a very good point, is that the adults, I think that when I mean, obviously I have a lot of respect for all of my teachers and adult authority figures, but I think that maybe sometimes in situations they need to step down from their pedestal and just talk to people instead of saying, well, you know, bullying is bad because blah, 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 blah. Say, you know, it's really a bad thing to bully because I was bullied when I was a child or whatever, or I was a bully. When you see an adult figure as being human, you tend to listen to them more, because when they're so neutral and just kind of a blank person, you can't really empathize with them, and they just kind of become this thing to rebel against and to hate.
How does a child who is in a bullied situation stand up to parents or family that have got to get their point across no matter what the situation is?
That's a tough one. I can't...
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I hope I'm understanding this question correctly. I think that if you are a kid being bullied, or, sorry, can you ask that again?
Like being bullied by your parents?
Not only by the parents, who are in turn bullied by their parents. Because back a few years ago, that was the only way, quote, we could learn. And I'm speaking from experience. Okay. Children have got their own sense of values, which come from the parents' set of values or the parental environment.
We learn what we see.
That child has to undergo the humility of not having, quote, their viewpoints honored by parents who think they know it all.
Well, that's kind of being a teenager. But I just want to say how much I appreciate what you're saying. For many years, it's been my task to provide a safe place for kids where they can express themselves, and something like SPA. And now I'm working with New Performing Arts High School in American Fork, and it's really nice to see you come out and talk about this stuff with us, and I appreciate your time today. It's really dear to me, and it's what I consider part of my mission and what I do, so thank you.
Thank you, and I want to thank you as well, because I have heard so many amazing things about Music Garage and School of Rock. I mean, I know so many people that are a part of it, and we went to School of Rock one day, and I fell in love with it, but we sadly couldn't afford it, so I couldn't be a part
Or you
of
can
it.
come to Music Garage.
Well, I plan on it.
But yeah. Well, I'm just happy that you're doing creative stuff, and I'm happy to see you sharing. I don't know, how did you arrive here today? How did this happen?
Hannah.
I begged Nina to come and speak. We're going to wrap up, but did you have a response for, I don't know
yes,
your name.
My name is John.
John?
Hey, John.
And then I think
Thank
we
you.
have one more question.
Sure.
Okay. So with going along with what your parents tell you to do, that's something that I've never really had to deal with because I'm very lucky to have a family that kind of let me go do my own thing. I have my own religion and I listen to what music I like, you know, on and on. But for people, I know lots of people whose parents say you have to do A and B and blah, blah, blah. I think that's a really difficult thing because a lot of kids feel trapped by that and like they can't be their own person. But I think maybe a solution would be to find, I'm going to use religion for example because I think that's a really big point that a lot of people have problems with family. So I grew up Catholic. My family was definitely very Catholic. I never really, I was okay with it. I kind of knew it wasn't right for me ever since I was little. So I've always felt a connection with nature and magic and all of that. So recently I discovered Wiccan. And luckily my mom, well, she's obviously not strict Catholic anymore. She's very much a free mind and very amazing. Sorry. So she was very accepting of me going down that path. I think that maybe using the same example of the religions, but for a different family that's not so accepting and loving, I would probably bring up the good points that your parents, that maybe where your values overlap, and say, well, see, what I want to do isn't so much different than what you already are doing, because people prefer to be comfortable than have all these new things sprung onto them, like, well, I don't even know what this is. So I think a parent is more likely to accept a child if they make an effort to show that, you know what, I'm not so completely different from you.
Let's have one more last question.
The first question, I have two comments. One is as an adult, much older, and I can think of other people who felt like I did, like I don't want to be like my mother or whatever. And so we've changed our lives, and I don't know where it came from. But also as a former teacher, one of the things that I felt was really helpful for some of my children who came from extremely dysfunctional backgrounds, and they were little, and I was talking to them, when you grow up, you don't have to be that. And, maybe somebody will do it, people don't. But it's really difficult as a teacher. You do what you can. But I think that was really important to talk to kids about that, and it was appropriate. There are options.
And thank you for being a teacher. I have so much respect for teachers. I think that they are so amazing, regardless of if I don't like them or they give out too much homework or any of that. So thank you. You've really done a service to the world. So, yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm really honored that I got to speak to you all.
So cool.
So you realize that you were our teacher today?
No homework.
No homework today. You guys got off lucky.
No, we've got tons of homework.
Yeah.
Let's give Nina another big round. And a round of applause for Amelia. And we have, thank you for bringing information on your project. He's got a
Oh, thanks. I hope it's not imposing. I should have asked.
There's
first.
no
No, it's
imposing.
awesome.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad that you did it. And Nina's brother is a fabulous musician, so I've got to pester you to come and do music sometime. Nina, will you also, I need the information for any links that you want also on the website too. It's 11:30, so that's when I think some people might turn into pumpkins, I don't know. But we have a little donation box. We give Dancing Crane a donation. So if you haven't already thrown a buck or two in, if you could do so, that would be really sweet. And if you can't, that's fine too. We're really appreciative that you took the time to come and join. Yeah, to be not join, but be a part and make this group today. So, yeah, thank you. Next week we have Brandy speaking on salads.
She was curious too on if everybody's interested to kind of get an idea how much we're going to
How much to bring?
bring. Yeah.
Bring a lot.
Yeah, there'll be
She's
a lot.
gonna
Well,
feed
just
us next week. It will be
being
a
Memorial Day weekend, we didn't know if we had a lot of people headed out of town.
Labor Day week.
Yeah, Labor Day.
Whatever.
It's on
We're on
the
Monday.
Okay, and who here plans to be next week? Okay, and if you can, bring friends and bring an appetite, because she's going to bring lettuce. If you're out of town, we'll understand.
Power salad.
Power salad, what a great
garden.
topic. Yeah, she grows it, she'll feed us, it'll be sweet. You'll be here, right? We'll try.
Maybe, I'll try.
Okay. And then the week after, let me, I brought my thing. Okay, so we have Brandy coming next week, and then that's the 2nd of September. September 9th, we have an opening for a speaker, a presenter, if anyone has something that they're passionate about. We have an opening for a presentation and a
Yay, thank you.
musician.
Yes, I would.
All right.
Thank you.
John, awesome. Okay, so John will be speaking the week after. The week after that will be me. It'll be boring. I'll lead a peace meditation. So that's the theme. Please come to that. And that'll be gearing up for a big peace, P-E-A-C-E, that our friend Cliff Lyon is organizing down at Library Square, I think it is. And then the week after that, we have another opening for a speaker. If anyone thinks of something that they'd like to present, would love it. It could be anything. Maybe it'll be Larry, we'll see, or whoever. We need a musician. And then the week after that, my friend George Williams is going to talk about Zen and the art of poker. So that'll be fun too. And we'll need a musician for that too. So, yeah, okay, love to all of you. And yeah.
It's a community, talk to each other.
Yeah, everybody talk. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Thanks, everyone.
Anna, how do you conclude this?
And did everybody leave
Just
their
hit the
name
red button.
on the sheet?